Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We continue from verse number 31, chapter 4. We have finished up to verse number 30, the 12 yajnas last week. And we continue with verse number 31. Verse number 31 reads, Yajnasishtamrita yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokostya yajnasya kuthonyah kurusattama. Yajnasishtamrita yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokostya yajnasya kuthonyah kurusattama. Eaters of the nectar, the remnants of sacrifice, go to the eternal Brahman. This world is not for the non-sacrifice. How then the other? O Purusattama. The effect of 12 yajnas. Having discussed 12 yajnas, now he is saying, what is the phala? What is the result of 12 yajnas? The result of 12 yajnas is all yajnas culminate in wisdom. That is the result. All yajnas culminates in wisdom. He is going to explain how all yajnas culminate in wisdom. So, to start with, he is saying, Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhujaha. Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhujaha. That is a beautiful word. Sishtaha means the remnant. Yajna Sishta is remnants of sacrifice. Those who eat the remnant of sacrifice. What is the remnant of sacrifice? Amrita, nectar. Those who eat the Amrita, which is the remnants of sacrifice, go to eternal Brahman. Even this world is not for the non-performer of sacrifice. How then the other world, O Kurusattama? If you don't perform sacrifice, even in this world, straight away there is agitation, frustration. Straight away there is worry, anxiety, agitation, frustration, punarjanma, and all that in this world itself. How then do you expect to get eternity? How then will you get the eternal Brahman? Therefore, he says, for the non-sacrificer, there is neither this world nor the next world. Now, the next world, don't take it literally. We have seen this any number of times. The next world. Nayam lokaha. Na ayam lokaha. Lokaha means world. Lokaha means world. And the Sanskrit word lokaha, world, means the field of experience. Wherever you are experiencing, that experiences is called the world. The English word world doesn't the English word world gives you a implied meaning of something like objects and beings existing. The Sanskrit word loka means experiencing the world, experiencing something. So nayam lokaha. So there is no good experience now, there is no better experience possible now, there is no better future experience too. So in this world means there is no better experience now, nor will there be a better experience in the future. To whom? To the non-performers of sacrifice. Even relatively, if you want a happy life, even relatively, if you want a better life, you have to perform sacrifice. One person sacrifices for the welfare of the family, that family unit is happy. So the happiness comes from the sacrifice. If a few sacrifices for the welfare of the community is happy. The country, the humanity, the species. Therefore, right through you experience what? The benefit always comes through. Benefit means a quality experience. Benefit means a quality experience. That quality better experience always comes through performance of that better experience always comes through performance of sacrifice, yajna. Okay, if a person says I will not perform sacrifice, I am not convinced by all these 12 yajnas, I am not even conceived by the very idea of sacrifice itself, I will continue to live life in the way that I want to live. What is your problem? Vedanta says there is no problem. One thing you cannot ask after that is, why me alone? You can't ask that question after that. When everybody else is happy, why is it only me? Why is it only me? No, people ask this, no? When everybody is happy, why only me in suffering? You cannot ask that question after that. Why? Because the Amrita is not available for you. The formula for Amrita, the formula to get Amrita is Yajna Karma. So this verse talks about 2 points. One is, it gives you assurance that if you practice Yajna, you get Brahman. That is one assurance. Also it deplores, also it talks about what will happen to the non-practitioners. Are you able to follow? He is saying what will happen to the practitioners and what will happen to the non-practitioners. Now, what will happen to the non-practitioners? Ayam lokaha naasti. Ayam lokaha naasti. Ayam lokaha naasti means success is not possible in this world. Success is not possible in this world. Kutaha anyaha. Kutaha anyaha means then what to talk about the future. Then what to talk about the future? You are agitated now. You will be disturbed, experiencing failures now. Not only you will be dejected, depressed, facing failures now, in future too, you will not get. What will you not get? Neither your future will be of a better life, nor you will gain moksha. Performers of sacrifice get all the three. That's what he's saying. The performers of sacrifice get all the three. What? The current benefit, the future benefit, the permanent benefit. The phala, the result is always of three. The result is always of three. Benefit in the present. And then there is another one which is benefit in the future. The third one is a permanent benefit. Those who perform yajna gets all the three. They get all the three. Those who do not perform yajna, they will not get. Contrast, exactly the opposite. They will not get any of this. In life, what happens is sometimes we have to sacrifice the present for a better future. Sometimes we have to sacrifice the present for a better future. Sometimes we have to sacrifice the better future for a present happiness. Future la enna varapodo yaru theriyum. Who knows about all that? So might as well enjoy and be happy now. So some sacrifice the present for a better future. Some will sacrifice the better future for the present. The third one is looking for a benefit that is permanent. Yajna karma gives you the permanent benefit. What is the permanent benefit? He says, they go to the eternal Brahman. Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. They will attain that eternal Brahman. So, in verse number 9, chapter 3, when he introduced Yajna, he said, Yajna is the central point. Yajna is the central point. Perform yajna, you go that side. You do not perform yajna, you go the opposite side. He introduced the concept in verse number 9, chapter 3, went through a lot of elaboration and explanation, and coming back to conclude. He's coming back to conclude by saying how you wouldn't get any of that. To conclude, how you wouldn't get any of that. What you wouldn't get? The benefit in the present, the benefit in the future, the benefit of the permanency. Future benefit means not something that is going to, not like heaven or anything. What he means by a future benefit is some actions, I have said this any number of times, some actions gives immediate benefit. The result is immediate. You put your fingers in the fire, the result is immediate. It's not that you put your fingers in the fire today, next Janma you will be punished for that. Some actions, the result is, for some actions, the result is immediate. Drishta, it is called drishtam, immediate, instant. You can see it straight away. For some actions, the result is later. You do an action now, but the result you will experience only the later part. If you do the action now and the result is happening immediately, absolutely no problem in life, huh? Because that itself will teach you what to do, what not to do. If only life is like where you do an action and the result is instant, immediate. Exactly you would know what to do. Exactly you will know what to do, what not to do. For that action, that immediate result itself will teach you. Now, life is such that where you do an action now and you will experience the benefit later. Just as You are experiencing some benefit now for that which you did something in the past. Carefully follow. You do an action now, the benefit is adrishta, and that adrishta benefit starts manifesting as drishta. When it starts manifesting, it is no more adrishta. It is drishta. And then you do an action now that becomes that. Thus, a human being continues the cycle of drishta, drishta, adrishta, drishta, adrishta, drishta, adrishta. Vedanta comes here. He says, yajna karma, if you perform, Arjuna, benefit is immediate. What is the immediate benefit? Kshipram hi manushe loke. He said it already. What is the immediate benefit? The immediate benefit is Kshipram hi manushe loke. Success is very, in this world of Manushya, in Manushya Loka, in the experiences of human beings, amongst the human beings, success is very easy, which is the immediate benefit. Kshipram hi manushe loke. The immediate benefit you will get. What is the future benefit? Because of yajna karma, there is this chitta shuddhi that is happening in you. There is the chitta shuddhi that is happening in you. The inner purification that is happening in you. That is the benefit of the success is instant benefit. The chitta shuddhi, the inner purification is the future benefit, and that chitta shuddhi will drive you to seek knowledge of Vedanta, and by seeking the knowledge of Vedanta, you get the permanent benefit of moksha. Are you able to follow how yajna karma gives all the three? Success is the current. Chitta shuddhi and seeking Vedanta is the benefit of the future. From the seeking Vedanta, you go to moksha. Sir, we are all seeking Vedanta, sir, now. Vedanta class, yeah, we are all sitting in Vedanta class only now, no? Vijayarangan. Correct, no? But at least one person agreed that we are in Vedanta class. Siddha Shuddhi has to happen. Though we are in Vedanta class, though we have come in contact with the knowledge, the inner purification has to happen. So even now you have to perform yajna karma. And what is Chitta Shuddhi means? Chitta Shuddhi is an inner purification. And what is inner purification means? Inner purification means the introverted state. That is inner purification. Inner purification means an introverted state. And what is that introverted state means? Introverted state, you can say in whatever way you want. Introverted state means you can say seeking moksha, you can say seeking moksha, seeking God, or wanting to know who am I. You can say in whatever way you want to say, you can say. Because people have their own way of saying. In whatever way you say, introverted state means this. What is it? Seeking moksha, seeking the I, or seeking God, or seeking moksha is what introverted state means. Now, whatever is comfortable for you, you use that. Whatever is comfortable for you, you use that. Somebody will say, no, there is no such thing called moksha, liberation and all. Know what the I is. Another person will say, no, there is no I and all, it is moksha. Another person will come and say, there is no moksha, there is no I, there is God. It doesn't matter whatever you use. When you say the future benefit of yajna karma is the introverted state. And the beautiful word here is yajna sister. Yajna sister. Those eaters of the remnants of sacrifice. They live life as the remnants of sacrifice. It is not that they hold on to and then extra they sacrifice. Remember the difference between the two. Otherwise, everybody thinks they are performing sacrifice. But they don't get the benefits of sacrifice. It means what? What is the eating the yajna sishta amrita bhujaha? What is yajna sishta means? Yajna sishta means living life on the leftovers of sacrifice. That is yajna sishta. Opposite of that is I acquire, I hoard. Carefully follow. I acquire, I hoard through legitimate means only, not illegitimate. Please understand. I acquire, I hoard through rightful, legitimate means, and whatever I have extra, whatever I feel I have extra, I give away as sacrifice. This is the ajnanam behind the sacrifice. You are deluding yourself to believe that you are performing yajna karma, which is not yajna karma. Then what is yajna karma? Yajna karma is you live life in such a way that it is only sacrifice. Whatsoever that gives you, whatsoever that sacrificial life gives you, you are happy and blissful. Such a person attains success now, attains chitta shuddhi and become introvert and seek moksha, and ultimately they gain moksha. Are you able to follow the sequence now? So, yajna sishtaha means those who live life in the remnants of sacrifice. Remnants of sacrifice means this: whatsoever you get, you give it away, and you squire it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you are back to zero, and start afresh the next day. You are so secure for the next 10 janmas, and then ask what is yajna, how to perform yajna karma and all. Is very good to listen. Is very good to listen. It's very good to hear and all that, but you will not get the benefits of. You will not get the benefit of sacrifice. Are you able to follow? Slightly difficult is this. Slightly difficult is this yajna karma, and it is not difficult because when you are asking for something infinite, at least that much you should be ready to pay the price, no? When you are asking for something infinite, at least that much you should be ready to pay the price. But Arjuna is telling Krishna, just as we are also telling Krishna. Arjuna is telling Krishna, now mokshathukala kekave illiya Krishna. Where did I ask you about moksha, liberation and all? When did I ask you about all that? I only asked you only one thing. What? How to enjoy life without feeling guilty. Avladana na unna ketta. What did I ask you, Krishna? Are you able to follow? What did I ask you, Krishna? Looks like you have no clarity on what I am. Looks like Arjuna will be thinking inside. Just as most of us will think. Where did I ask you about moksha? I only asked you one simple question. What? Tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. That's the question. Are you able to follow? What is the question? Tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. Tell me in one word, that I will be happy. And what will bring happiness to me? I should kill the Kauravas, enjoy the kingdom, and not feel bad, guilty, agitated. What a simple question that I asked you. You are starting Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, and then you went into the 12 yajnas, and then now you are saying yajna sishta amrita bhujaha. That's why you find at the beginning of the 5th chapter, Arjuna comes back to Krishna and say, Krishna, looks like you didn't understand what I asked you. Again, we will start all over again. What we will start all over again? Moksha Allah, I didn't ask. Liberation Allah, I didn't ask. All that I asked you is what? My enjoyments should be guilt-free. That's all the problem is. Are you able to follow? I should acquire and hoard, and when I see people suffering in the world, in the street, I should not feel guilty that I am in comfort and they are in suffering. That comparison, that guilt and all should not happen to me. Teach me. Are you able to follow what I am asking? In fact, now you will be able to relate to Arjuna better. Because this is what? This is what we are also asking, sir. And why is Krishna not answering Arjuna's question to the point, and he is talking all the unnecessary things? Krishna is saying, Arjuna, when you are asking for guilt-free enjoyment and all that, those things don't exist. That thing doesn't exist. Give me a warm winter. That's what I am asking. Give me a cold summer. That's what I am asking. I want a cold summer and a warm winter. Why can't you give me that? Because there are other people who are promising that. There are other people who are promising that. There are others in the world who's giving me a hope saying, don't worry, that is, I will make it. I will make it possible. And everybody goes there, hoping that it will work. Now, Krishna is a simple, honest, plain, straightforward person. He's a very simple, he's a very honest, he's a plain, blunt, straightforward person. So he has to say the reality. What is the reality? Yajna sishta amrita bhuja. The whole crux here is what is the remnant of sacrifice means. Rest and all is very easy. Rest of the things is very easy. You do that, there is the Chitta Shuddhi, and then Mananam and Nididhyasanam happens. That Mananam and Nididhyasanam happens will take you to liberation. That theoretical part of explanation is not difficult at all. What is difficult to unknot? What is difficult to understand is what he means by the remnants of sacrifice. What is the remnant of sacrifice means? The remnant of sacrifice means this. In the disciplines of Yama and Niyama, so beautifully he talks about the remnants of sacrifice. What is the remnant of sacrifice? One of the discipline that he talks about is sacrificing that which is acquired through legitimate means. Look at that word, so beautifully he puts it. Sacrificing that which is acquired through. So, on the illegitimate means, sacrifice pannanum illa sir. Venkat, அதனாலதான் cash donation வாங்க மாட்டோம். We don't take cash donation. We don't take cash donation at all. Zero is because it is acquired through. You have to sacrifice that which is acquired through legitimate means. And how can you sacrifice that which is acquired through legitimate means? It is impossible, no? It is very difficult to give up that which you have acquired through legitimate means. That is difficult to give up, and easy to give up that which is. Last week in one of the classes, when I was explaining this, the person said, sir, we should we should give up that which we have acquired through illegitimate means only, no sir? That's what yajna means, no? That's what sacrifice means, no? I said that is Rakshasa life. That is Rakshasa life. Clear? That is, I was defining two. This is the remnants of sacrifice. I was defining what is brahmacharya and what is giving. Dhanam, giving, which is what he calls as remnants of sacrifice. When you are practicing these two, you are doing this. So, Brahmacharya means there should not be an inappropriateness in any relationship. If there is an inappropriateness in any relationship, you are violating the principle of Brahmacharya. Are you able to follow? When the inappropriateness is violated in any relationship, you have violated Brahmacharya. That fellow. Oh, that means Brahmacharya means we should not lustfully look at other women, no? I said that is not Brahmacharya, that is Ravana. That is not Brahmacharya, that is Ravana. Lustfully you don't look at your own wife is Brahmacharya. This is Yajna Sishta. Are you able to follow? Lustfully, you don't look at anything that you have lustfully. All that you have, anything that you have, anything that you have, you don't look at it lustfully is what Brahmacharya is all about. Number one. Number two, what is giving? Whatever you have earned through legitimate means, you give up all that. When you go to sleep in the night, you are back to square one. That night you will have such a peaceful, wonderful sleep, and you wake up. When you wake up, you are so afresh, you are so different. Disclaimer, warning. Disclaimer, warning. இதெல்லாம் கதா காலக்ஷேபம் மாதிரி கேட்கணும். All this listen as a story and forget it. All this listen as a story and forget it. If you practice any one of this, it is at your risk. Pseudo teacher like me will say this. Krishna says something different. Yeah, a duplicate teacher like me will say this. Look at what Krishna is saying. Eaters of the remnants of sacrifice will go to Brahman. Non-performers will suffer. This is too much to digest. This is too much too difficult. So what Krishna does, he waters it down, he waters it down, he waters it down. And how much ever he waters it down, we still find it difficult. Why? Because he is not yet answering our question. What is our question? Indulgences minus consequences. What is the method? Indulgences minus consequences. What is the method? ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க இன்னைக்குமே விஜய் இதெல்லாம் நடக்கவே நடக்காது. Indulgences minus consequences. What is the method? selfishness minus consequences, what is the best way? What is the best way to be selfish and avoid and escape the consequences? The eaters of the remnants of sacrifice get amrita. Eaters of the remnants of sacrifice taste amrita. They get a taste of amrita. And the very taste they get now motivates them to, the very taste drives them to seek it more. Therefore, he says, the eaters of the remnants of the sacrifice, meaning those who do sacrifice will get it. Those who talk about sacrifice will not get it. Again, remember this. Those who do sacrifice will get it. Those who want others to sacrifice will not get it. We always want the others to. The family means I should sacrifice and the other person also should sacrifice, no sir, little bit. Then only it will be good, no. Just one person sacrificing, others will take advantage of me, no. Then what do I do? Don't worry. Be selfish as that person. Or to whatever extent you are selfish, to that extent you will, to whatever extent you are selfish, to that extent you will neither get the benefit in the present, nor benefit in the future, nor permanent benefit. Therefore, the doers of sacrifice, Yajna Sishta. Yeah. Sishta means Sesha, the leftovers. We should not touch the leftovers, sir, because leftovers is that which is poisonous. With reference to Yajna, that is Amrita. The food that is left in the refrigerator for 10 days and then you take it up. Don't try all this. If you keep it in the fridge for 10 days and eat, please eat. Continue to do whatever you are doing. That has a poison. The only leftover that is Amrita is Yajna. What is Yajna? You live a life of sacrifice. You live a life of sacrifice. You live a life of sacrifice and then substitute and then add up service to that. You live a life of sacrifice and add a service to that. What is known as the life of service and sacrifice is Yajna Karma. And that life of service and sacrifice, you will taste Amrita. Amrita means benefit immediately. Kshipram hi manushe loke, success immediately. Not only success immediately, Chitta Shuddhi for the Chitta Shuddhi that will happen in the future. And with that Chitta Shuddhi that has happened in the future, you attain, you do Mananam Nididhyasanam and gain Moksha. So, right through till you get to moksha, you should keep sacrificing. Carefully follow now. In the last stage, you sacrifice itself. The last stage, which he already said in verse number 24, which he already said, where we saw the pole vault example and all that. So right through what will take you? Right through what will take you? Sacrifice. Right through what will take you? Sacrifice. And the last thing you sacrifice is what? Sacrifice, panni, you keep doing sacrifices, and finally what you will be left with? Sacrifice. The capacity to sacrifice. And that also you sacrifice, you gain Brahman. But I don't want Brahman. I want the future benefit only, sir. Perform sacrifice. I don't want Brahman, neither there is a guarantee of future life. But there is no guarantee of any future life, there is no guarantee of anything. So I want success and happiness in whatever I am doing. Now, what is the method for that? Sacrifice. So all that is valuable in life you will get through sacrifice. All that is not worthwhile will come through non-sacrifice. That's all. Yajna Sishta Amrita Bhujaha. Immediately he is saying, Kuta Anyaha Nayam Lokaha Kama Kuta Anyaha. Kuta Anyaha means how then the other? Okay, how then the other? Because this itself is not there. How then the other? Because how then the other? How do you understand this? Remember this. Your tomorrow doesn't come out of your calendar. Your tomorrow comes out of your today. Punch dialogue mari nyabagam vechukonga. It becomes easy. Yeah. Remember this like some punch dialogue. It will be easy. Your tomorrow doesn't come out of your calendar. Your tomorrow comes out of your today. This is the law of life. Since this is the law of life, if you are not doing sacrifice now, how can you get a better? How can you get a better tomorrow? Because your tomorrow is going to come out of your tomorrow is going to come out of your today. Just as your today came out of your, just as, where did your today came from? Not suddenly from the heaven. Your today came out of your yesterday. Obese and overweight today, it came out of the obese and overweight of today came out of the hormonal problems I have. Thyroid problem I have. Yesterday was very different. It doesn't matter whatever you say, your today came out of yesterday. Similarly, your tomorrow is going to come out of today. If you understand this law of life, then you will understand how yajna gives benefit in the present, how yajna gives benefit in the future also. Otherwise it will look like a mere statement. What is the law behind it? What is the science behind it? What is the logic behind it? The law, the science, the logic behind it is this. Your tomorrow comes out of your today. If today you are performing sacrifices and all that, tomorrow will be better. Therefore, O Kurusattama, best amongst the Kurus. Kurusattama means best amongst the Kurus. You being the best amongst the Kurus, what you should be doing? The best person should not be doing the worst crime, no? The best person must do the best activity. Appadam Kurusattaman pair is, then only you deserve that name Kurusattama. Otherwise, you don't deserve the name Kurusattama. You have to be called as Manda Guru or useless Guru. The useless Guru is Duryodhana, standing on the useless Guru is standing on the other side, Duryodhana. And then on your side, there are these mandas, mediocre people, average. And then there are these average people. But Arjuna, you are called Guru Sattama. Guru Sattama means the best amongst the Gurus. And you being the best amongst the Gurus, you should be doing the best activity, the noblest activity. What is the best, noblest activity? Perform sacrifice, yajna, yajna karma. All the three you want, you will get, Arjuna. All the three you want, you will get. Verse number 2 and 3, where Krishna spoke in chapter 2. Verse number 2 and 3 in chapter 2, when Krishna spoke. Anarya Justam Aswargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna. He said that. Anarya Justam Aswargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna. By this act of yours, you will not get any of it. What is that you will not get? The present benefit, the future benefit, nor the permanent benefit. Having said that, he is saying, perform yajna karma. Life becomes nectarine. As your present life becomes blissful, the sacrificial activities makes you mature, advance you in the path of self-realization, the last stage, meditation, and you actually attain Brahman. This is how verse number 31 talks about how yajnas culminate in wisdom, and what happens to the performers and what happens to the non-performers. What happens to the performers and what happens to the non-performers. So yeah, with this we finish verse number 31 and we move on to verse number 32. Is it okay, this verse? Verse number 32 reads, Evam bahuvida yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidditan sarvan evam nyatva vimokshyase. Evam bahuvida yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidditan sarvan evam nyatva vimokshyase. Thus, manifold sacrifices are spread out before Brahman. For buffet madri irukudhu, he is saying. Manifold sacrifices are spread out before Brahman. Know them all to be born of action. Thus, knowing, you shall be liberated. Thus, innumerable sacrifices lie spread out before Brahman. See, literally what it means is Brahmano Mukhe, means literally in the face of Brahman. What literal meaning is, literally in the face of Mukha means the face. Kannuku munnadi ivlo irukkude, that's what he is saying. What it means is, so much is there in front of your eyes, how you can miss it? So much of possibilities to perform yajna karma is there, which is spread out in front of your eyes. How can you see? How can you miss it? He is not saying that. We are adding that. No solla kodadu. I am adding it unnecessarily. He is only saying it is so much is there in front of your eyes. Kannuku munadi, we say that, no? Kannuku munadi ivlo irundu you are missing it. So much is there spread out in front of you. Bahuvida yajnaha, manifold sacrifices, Manifold means many types of sacrifices. Many types of sacrifices is the broad classifications which he spoke about as in the 12 yajnas. The broad classifications that he spoke about in the 12 yajnas, which is verse number 25 to 30, is Bahuvida Yajna is reference to that. Know them all to be born of action. Vidhi, no. Tan vidhi karmajan. Tan vidhi karmajan means know them all to be born of action. Tan sarvan karmajan vidhi. Na enna artham? Therinja mattum pathadu Arjuna. Excellent, sir. Very good, sir. Appreciation panna, nothing will happen. What you should do? Know them to be born of action. Born of action means the result you will get only if you do it. It's an imperative command. It's the vidhi he's saying. And he puts it so subtly that you won't even know that he is making it as a vidhi, a law. He puts it so subtly that we don't even recognize that he is calling it as a law, a command. What is the command? Know them all to be born of action. Means what? It is not enough to have this knowledge of yajnas. The knowledge of yajnas which it oru prayojanam illa. Yeah. At the most, you can cheat a group of people like what I am doing. As though I know, as though I am a performer of sacrifice and a you can do avladha. But beyond that, nothing will happen. What you should understand, know them all to be born of action. Means sacrifice is in doing. Sacrifice, the benefit comes only when you do it. Where all possible, you do it. For whatsoever reasons, if you can't do it, at least you pray. Even if you can't pray, at least verbally if you can't pray, mentally you wish the welfare. Anna, the true benefit comes when? True benefit comes when? Only when you actually get into the doing. That's what he says. Tan sarvan karmajan vidhi. Know them all to be born of action. Konjamattum born of action illa. Know them. Tan sarvan. He's making it very clear. Tan sarvan karmajan vidhi. It is not enough that we have the knowledge of these yajnas. Number two, you should know the importance of karma in relation to moksha. This is technical. You should know the importance of karma in relation to moksha. What is the relationship of karma to moksha? The relationship of karma to moksha is karma gives you chitta shuddhi. The chitta shuddhi, the inner purification, the introverted state. From that introverted state, you do nididhyasanam moksha. So this is the relevance of karma to moksha. Therefore, two things he is saying. One is on a practical plane, it is not just listening to and appreciating it will help you, will bring you the benefits. You have to actually do it. And what will drive you, what will give you the motivation to do it? The motivation to do it will come when you understand the relevance of it. What is the relevance of it? The relevance of karma to moksha. What is the relevance of karma to moksha? Karma gives you chitta shuddhi. Are you able to follow? Karma gives you this chitta shuddhi, inner purification. Practically, how does one do it? How does one perform this yajna karma? On a practical plane, how does one do it? The closest example is actor on the stage. The closest example is actor on the stage. As the actor does all the roles that he has to play, but doesn't get involved in any of the roles that he plays, similarly perform all your actions with this understanding. What is the understanding? It is a role you have to play. You are not that. Remember that. You are not the mother. Motherhood is the role that you have to play. You are not the mother. Father, being a father, fatherhood is the role that you have to play. You are not the father. Now when you say, I am the mother, now what has happened? You have mixed up you and the role. It means what? You have forgotten your real identity and you have assumed the role to be you. When you have assumed the role to be you, then conflict will come. What is the conflict? Other roles are also there, no? Other roles are also there, no? Then which role I should give? Then to which role I should give priority? Because if you give priority to one role, the other role gets. If you give priority to one role, the other role gets left out. And then you focus on that role, this one gets left out. Therefore, what happens? You get involved in the role. When you get involved in the role means the respective desires in relation to that role goes on increasing. What does involvement in the role means? Desires in relation to that role keeps on increasing, and when the desires in relation to that role keeps on increasing, more and more of these roles you have to play in future. Or mother many janmas also you have to be a mother. One father is not enough. Many janmas you have to be a father. Why? Because you have developed that. You have developed that. Is that? Oru janmala you are getting parented nale, how frustrating it is. Huh? You parenting is always good, but you being parented. Yeah. Ipo adu vera pudusu. Reverse parenting. Nallam kan pandranga. I tell you, reverse parenting. RK sir, reverse parenting na theriyuma? Raji will tell you what you have to do. That's the reverse parenting. RK parenting Raji in a direct parenting. Reverse parenting. Clear? In my house, reverse parenting da. Unga veetla appadana? Correct. Vibes. Shailesh, what's happening in your place? Reverse parenting, Venkattukku andha prachana kedaiyadhu. Reverse parenting stage is over for Venkat. Reverse parenting. What is reverse? Children say what you have to do. Satvik will tell Srikanth what to do, what not to do. Uncle, class la sonnarla. Yeah. Uncle, class la sonnarla. You know Satvik, 6-year-old girl. She made a phone call to me last week. Srikanth. She made a phone call to me asking me, "Na Satvik arthikku evlo naal agum?" How long more it will take for me to become Satvik? I said, "Unakku pere Satvik nu vechitene, why are you asking me?" Because to an extent where I forgot her real name. I started calling her Satvik so much that I forgot her real name. I said, I kept your name Satvik. Why are you asking this? Okay, uncle. She put the phone down saying, "Okay, uncle." You get identified in one role. Many more janmas you have to do. You have to keep doing this role. You don't understand that. You don't realize that. You don't recognize that. Yeah. One of the wise persons from our class is a very wise. All are wise in our classes, maybe except the teacher. And one of the wise person from our class did a survey long back. He went and did a survey. That survey is survey pandradhukku you need conditions, no? Venkatachalam, you don't have heard about the survey. One person did it from our class. Very wise person. The survey is this. For survey, you have some qualifications, no? So minimum qualification to be to participate in the survey is 35 years of marriage. You should be married 35 years. Number one. Second is single marriage. Not every 5 years new marriage, na you are left out. So 35 years single marriage, same wife, and then these are the pre-qualifications. And then the questionnaire to them. What is the questionnaire to them? Does anybody remember the question? Rajkumar, do you remember that question? In your next janma also, will you want to marry the same person? And then I got the survey results. He came and gave me the survey result. Whoever did that, whoever did that. I just asked Rajkumar. He didn't do the survey. He didn't do the survey. I just asked people. He didn't do the survey. Since I saw him in camera, I'm seeing him. I'm saying. The conclusion is nobody wants to have the same partner. I asked him that question. I asked them separately only. I said, very good. By default, they have to say, no, not only in this janma, for the next, for the next 7 janmas, Imagine Jayshree mind, 1 janma very difficult. Don't keep it here, don't keep it there, don't do this now, don't do that now. Why is your glass like this? Why it is not? Rajaram. 1 difficult. How it will be 7? Now what will happen? Get involved in the role. If you get involved in any role, you have to perform those roles multiple times in multiple janmas. So your future is very well secured now only. That is why the wise person looking at you says, I know your future also. What is your future? Continuing the same roles, same involvement, same roles, nothing is going to change. What is the methodology? What is the solution? The solution is this. Beautiful solution he gives. What is it? Take it as the role that you have to play, and do not get involved in any of the roles that you play. Do not get involved in any of the roles that you play. If you are not involved in any of the roles that you play, you have the opportunity, you have the choice to remember the two. What? You have to do that which you ought to do as an instrument of the divine, the yajna karma. When you are not involved in the role, you will be able to remember this. What is yajna karma? Do that which you ought to do as an instrument of the divine. You do that which you ought to do. Whatever you do will be successful now. Chitta Shuddhi happens. In future, you are preparing yourself for the shift from extroverted, from the shift from extroversion to introversion, and from that introverted state, nididhyasanam, to moksha, liberation. Verse number 32, Ida he says, by viewing it thus and surrendering all your activities to Brahman. What is surrendering all activities to Brahman means? What is surrendering all activities to God means? Surrendering all activities to God means you don't make God the doer. Surrendering activities to God's na our pathupara, sir. God will become the doer and he will do everything. Surrendering to God doesn't mean you make God the doer. Surrendering all activities to God means instead of doer, you take the stance that I perform this action as an instrument. As an instrument. The instrument has to do. The instrument has to be sharp. Yeah. Blunt knife, you can't do anything, no? Yeah. Blunt knife, na? Mokka katti arukudadu. Yeah. The instrument has to be sharp. The instrument has to be dynamic. But it has to be an instrument only. It can't take the doership. I will be a sharp instrument. When you develop this attitude that I will be a sharp instrument, or I am a sharp instrument, is what is known as surrendering all activities to Brahman. When you surrender all activities to Brahman, this, you shall be liberated. You shall be liberated. Future tense lo pottar. Shall be liberated. Evlo naal agumo theriyadu. Vimokshyase, shall be liberated. Shall be liberated, na, you will definitely get it. Evlo naal ni ketta adu solla mudiyadhu avladha. You, for sure it will happen. How? When you know this, what you should know? It is not enough to have this knowledge of yajnas. I heard it. It is very nice. I appreciated it. And if you stop it there, nothing will happen. You have to do sacrifice. People ask how to practice knowledge, sir. Krishna is saying practice sacrifice. That is practicing knowledge. People ask how to practice Vedanta. How to practice Vedanta? How to practice this knowledge of Vedanta, sir? Krishna's advice is, if you want to practice knowledge of Vedanta, you have to practice sacrifice. For practicing sacrificing is practicing Vedanta. Practicing sacrificing is practicing Vedanta, is practicing this knowledge. Therefore, first thing is, it is not enough to have this knowledge of yajnas, you need to perform yajna too. You have to perform it. For the actual benefit will come only through performance, number one. Number two is the role of karma in relation to moksha, the role of action. What is the role of action? The role of action is this. It reduces the bulk of vasanas. When the bulk of vasanas is reduced, this is what is known as chitta shuddhi, inner purification. What does inner purification means? When the bulk of your vasanas are reduced, when the bulk of your vasanas are reduced, you have attained inner purification. That inner purification, chitta shuddhi, is a prerequisite for introverted practices, nididhyasanam, meditation. Then you shall be liberated. So he says, thus manifold sacrifices are spread out before Brahman. Manifold sacrifices means you can perform yajna karma in receipt of stimuli, reactions within, responses back, the pranas, the ahara niyama, all the human activities. All aspects of activities can be converted into the yajna karma. It means that many is spread out in front. That many is spread out in front. How can you miss it? How can you miss it? Evam bahuvida yajnaha. Please understand, these 10-12 yajnas merely represent the broad classifications. It is not only the 12. These 12 is the broad classification, the 12 formulas. That's where you go to Vedas and Vedanta, they talks about hundreds and thousands of yajnas they talk about. And all these hundreds and thousands of yajnas they talk about have the formula in this 12. So these 12 formulas by the permutation and combination will become bahuvidaha. These 12 by the permutation and combination will become bahuvidaha, and by this bahuvida yajnaha you attain moksha. So all yajnas culminate in wisdom. All yajnas culminate in wisdom. With this, we conclude verse number 32. Verse number 33, next session. I am sure all of you will be remembering. This is an announcement, not in relation to the class. Very, very important day. The Guru for us, for me, Guru Purnima is today. For us, Guru Purnima is today. 6:30 evening, log in and receive the blessings of the Guru. For Guru Purnima is today, because whenever the Guru speaks is the Guru Purnima, and he is speaking this evening. So for all practical purposes, Guru Purnima is today, even though the calendar Guru Purnima got over long back. So evening 6:30 p.m. I'm just reminding, yeah, I'm sure most of you will log in. I'm just reminding, because as disciples together, we should remember to do that. As disciples, as we are all students, we remember to do that. Receive the knowledge and offer our pranams. Receive the knowledge and offer our pranams to the Guru this evening, 6:30. You have to log in into Vidya Lakshmi is asking how to log in. Our PRO Venkat will Yeah, our PRO Venkat will, அவர் தான் நம்ம PRO. ராஜாராம் கரெக்ட் தானே? அவர் தான், self appointed and self designated and properly also appointed, I think now. I heard. Yeah, properly also appointed PRO. So whoever wants to know the direct link, the Vedanta TV, the YouTube Vedanta TV, correct, Vedanta.tv, correct, Vedanta.tv. Log into the YouTube Vedanta.tv at 6:30 p.m. You will be 1 hour of knowledge from the Guru, and then we offer our pranams. We offer our pranams physically panna mudiyadu, mentally only. Mentally only. And just to get, instead of you searching for it and all that, now, as soon as the session is over, log in and register. Log in and register. I am sure everybody, I am sure more than 90% have done it already. I know that. For that 1 or 2, it is being said. So 6:30 p.m. this evening. Before I conclude the session, there are a few clarifications which I will take it up and then conclude. Venkatachalam. Verse number 31 appear to give Karma Yoga, the performers of sacrifice, equal or more importance than Jnana Yoga towards achieving moksha, future benefits. Can you please clarify? Yes, Venkatachalam, you are correct. In chapter 3, 4 and 5, the accent is more on Karma Yoga only. Even though in chapter 2, when he spoke about the Sankhya Yoga, he has established moksha and Jnanam is the ultimate.
Correct.
Even though he has established that in chapter 2, from chapter 3, he is coming down to the level of Arjuna and preparing him for knowledge. So when he is preparing him for knowledge, what he will do?
Gives more importance to.
He gives more importance to action.
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. As he is giving more importance to Karma Yoga, he goes on distinguishing between Punya Karma and Moksha. That's why even when he is talking about Karma Yoga, he goes on, he ensures that he brings in this distinction. The distinction of Punya Karma and enjoying the benefits of Punya Karma versus Yajna Karma to Moksha. So, even though he is glorifying action, he is glorifying action only in relation to moksha. And also he is ensuring that he explains how Karma Yoga is, how Karma Yoga will lead to inner purification, and that inner purification will lead to moksha, jnana. You are correct. Your observation is correct. He is giving, and the, when you are talking to a student who is writing the 10th exam, you have to say, what do you have to say? Your entire life, your entire future is on this 10th only. After that, you will realize that it has got nothing to do with. But then when you are doing that, you have to talk that language only. And then when the student goes to 12th standard, you have to say, what? Board exams is very important. That is what is the rest of your life is. And then once they have successfully passed that, you will say, this. The same approach Krishna is taking. The same approach Krishna is taking. Is it okay? Venkatachalam? Yeah. Vidya Lakshmi is asking. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Vidya Lakshmi is asking, sir, felt that actor example should follow now. Actor example should follow now on. I am just playing the role. I am not that. Yes, Vidya, you have to follow this principle. the principle that I am playing the role. I have to play the role. It is my obligation to play the role, and I ought not to run away from that role. I ought not to get frightened by that role. I ought not to leave that role halfway or perform very poorly. I need to perform that role to the best of my ability, not perfectly. Yeah? Remember this. I need to perform the role sincerely, not perfectly. Vedanta talks about sincerity only. Sincerity in action, not perfection in action. Remember that. Whatever role you have to play that role sincerely. Don't replace it with the word perfectly, because the quickest way to become insane is perfection. You want to become, there are very many ways to become insane. And the quickest way to become mad is turn into a, the easiest way to become mad is turn into a perfectionist. Vedanta is not talking about perfection. Vedanta is talking about sincere. So whatsoever role you have to play, you play that role sincerely. When you are playing that role sincerely, what you need to understand, when you are performing that action, when you are like a mother, you have to understand, like the mother you are not the mother. That is the role. If you say, I am the mother, there is no role after that. I am playing the role of the mother. I am playing the role of the partner. I am playing the role of whatever the role is that you have to play, you play. So what is Karma Yoga? Playing that role sincerely and not getting involved in that role. When you get involved in that role, what happens? When you get involved in that role, what happens? Another few more janmas, you have to necessarily perform those roles. Therefore, knowledge says, be done with it. Be done with it here and now. Be done with it now. And aspire for moksha. Is it okay, Vidya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Rajkumar. You still remember about the survey I did after all these years? Almost 10 years back. நான் எங்கேயாவது ராஜ்குமார் பண்ணாருன்னு சொன்னேன்னா அதான் அவரா வந்து மாட்டிக்கிறது இல்லையா? வேற யாரும் வேணாம், நமக்கு நம்மளே போறோம் இல்லையா? We don't need others to come and destroy. We know how to, இல்லையா? நான் ராஜ்குமார்னு சொல்லவே இல்லை வெங்கட், நான் சொன்ன ராஜ்குமார்னு. I didn't say. ராஜ்குமார கேள்வி கேட்டேன், அவருக்கு இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஞாபகம் இருக்கான்னு அவரை கேட்டேன், அவ்வளவுதான். I didn't say ராஜ்குமார். அவரா மாட்டிக்கிட்டார். Anyway, you know who is this Brihaspati now, no? Who is this Brihaspati who did this survey now? Everybody knows. Brihaspati Deva Guru அவர். Brihaspati not in the demeaning way, yeah? Rajkumar. Deva Guru. Yeah, Brihaspati. Now Prasanna. Does it mean that yajna is the type of karma we should perform for self-realization? Is there any other kind of karma other than yajna when we say karma yoga? Is there any other kind of karma other than yajna karma when we say karma yoga? No. Karma yoga equals yajna karma. In the context of chapter 4, we use the word yajna karma because he is using the word yajna karma. Only in the context of chapter 4, we will use the word yajna karma. In a general way, we use the word only karma yoga. We will never use the word yajna karma. We will use the word karma yoga. Why we are using the word yajna karma in this specific chapter is because Krishna is using that word yajna karma, number one. And the traditional orthodox Vedic way of referring Vedic way of referring karma yoga is yajna karma. The classic Vedic Vedantic way of referring to karma yoga is yajna karma. But now we don't use that vocabulary anymore. Therefore, we say karma yoga. Similarly, for bhakti yoga, the classic Vedic Vedantic way of bhakti yoga is upasana. For karma yoga, they use the word yajna karma. For bhakti yoga, they use the word upasana. Now, we have for whatsoever purposes this vocabulary has been, we have been so long used to this vocabulary of karma bhakti jnana yoga. So traditionally, in the modern day context, what we speak, in the modern day context, we speak as karma bhakti jnana yoga only. The jnana yoga ku mattumna word change agala, ena adu permanent only. Vocabulary couldn't be changed for jnana yoga because jnanam you can't bring in any other word for jnanam. For karma and bhakti, the Vedic Vedantic way, the orthodox way is yajna karma equals karma yoga. Upasana equals bhakti yoga. Karma yoga equals yajna karma. Upasana equals bhakti yoga. Therefore, to answer the question, is there any other kind of karma other than yajna when we say karma yoga? No. How do we say yajna karma equals karma yoga? In yajna karma, the principle of yajna karma is na mama. That's where in the traditional yajna mantra, when we pour the ahuti, we say, I am offering it to you, O Agni. I am offering it to you, O Agni, which is known as Agnaye Swaha. Agnaye Idannamama. What I am offering to you is not mine. Abdinna what? That's where elsewhere the Acharya says it so beautifully. How can you claim that you have given? It is his. You have taken his and given it to him, and then how can you say, I gave? Are you able to follow the spirit of yajna karma? Which Swamiji puts it so beautifully in the modern day context, after you. Na mama, not mine. The opposite of the opposite of after you is what? Me comes first. In yajna karma, you come first. In yajna karma, you come first. I am an instrument there. So yajna karma means what? You come first and I am an instrument to serve you. This is yajna karma, to put it in a very simple way. You come first and I serve you. When I serve you, I am an instrument serving you, not the doer serving you. Therefore, there is no other kind of karma other than yajna karma when we say karma yoga. Does it mean that yajna is the type of karma we should perform for self-realization? Yes. Yajna karma is what we have to perform for self-realization. So technically what we do is, we will not say yajna karma for self-realization, yajna karma to become introvert. Yajna karma to become introvert, yajna karma to gain chitta shuddhi, yajna karma to reduce the bulk of vasanas and then turn introvert and then turn this nididhyasanam and whatever the practices are to self-realization. So we never, even though we may skip it, mentally we should always remember the sequence. Karma Yoga to purification to self-realization. Karma Yoga to introversion to self-realization. How do we say that? Formula very clearly established in verse number 3, chapter 3. Lokesmin dvivida nishta pura prokta maya naga jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam. That is the formula. Formula which is referred in verse number 3, chapter 3. Lokesmin dvivida nishta pura prokta maya naga. Asmin loke. Lokesmin asmin loke. In this loka, there are these two nishtas. There are these two paths. What are the two paths? Jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam. So, the first step is karma yoga. The second step is jnana yoga to realization. So, karma yoga is a preparatory step. When we say preparatory step, not an inferior step. 10th standard is not inferior to 12th standard, no. 10th standard will become inferior only after you gain PhD. When you are in 9th class, 10th standard is, PhD is imaginary, 10th standard is the reality. So he says, Karma Yogena Yoginam, purify, turn introvert, and then Jnana Yogena Sankyanam, then Moksha. Sequence very clearly established, the sequence in verse number 3, chapter 3, after explaining the sequence very clearly in chapter 2. He has explained the sequence very clearly in chapter 2 and then gives the formula. All that I said in chapter 2, Arjuna, belongs to this formula. What is the formula? Remember verse number 3, chapter 3. Seriya? With this, we conclude for today and we continue next week. Hari Om.